Tonight on CTV News at 6. A concerning trend for North Bay police following a string of recent drug deals and robberies.
They're designed to look like a real gun.
The service is working to clamp down on fake guns in the city. Plus, digging out from this week's storm.
Brutal. Couldn't be worse. I mean, I've never seen nothing like this.
Environment Canada estimates between 50 and 60 centimeters fell on Timmins. And celebrating the new year Italian style.
It was actually my great uncle who brought his recipe of porchetta that we actually know here in Sudbury.
One Sudbury party is going to focus on one delicious tradition.
CTV News at 6 with Tony Rima and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Tony is off. We are starting to get a bigger picture of just how big that storm was that swept through our region yesterday. Public works crews and plows have been working overtime from one end of the region to the other to clear just a mountain of snow and in some cases ice, depending on where you are in the Northeast. David Wesley sent us this shot of him trying to make it on foot to a nearby gas bar in Timmins. He says it was too cold and he had to turn back. Meanwhile, Kayla Viau's husband sent us this incredible video of her just trying to get out of their house in Cochrane. The snowdrift almost as tall as she is. She's eventually able to make it out, but not without a little bit of a climb. Some anecdotally telling us this is the worst storm they've seen in years. With more on the impact in Timmins, here's CTV's Lydia Chubak.
Your son.
Councillor Bill Gazdanovich and his son Brock have teamed up to tackle the snow in their driveway left after Monday's blizzard.
Look at Lydia. Look. Brutal. Couldn't be worse. I mean, I've never seen nothing like this. I've been here. The last storm I seen like this was probably back in the 80s, and I actually looked it up. It was 1983 when we had 47 centimeters.
Environment Canada forecasted an accumulation of 40 to 60 centimeters for the area.
There was an estimate based on radar and model output. There were about 50 to 60 centimeters of snow around the Timmins area. So it was quite something. Quite hefty. Farther south in Sault Ste. Marie, about 22 centimeters.
Yesterday, the city of Timmins advised people to stay home, and many did. However, some motorists took their chances and ventured out.
Well, I mean, there's vehicles that just, got stuck right in the middle of the road and they just left them there, and that's unprecedented.
It intensified really quickly. It dropped pressure. And so it was able to create a lot of winds around the system. So not just for the Timmins area, but all around this low pressure system, even for Southern Ontario, for Quebecers. So it was a very far reaching. And now it's affecting people in the Maritimes. And of course, people in Timmins can sort of breathe a sigh of relief for now.
There's more movement today now that the storm has passed and crews have been plowing roads. But Timmins Councillor John Curley asks people to be patient during this challenging weather event.
We're down to single lanes on main thoroughfares, so we have to remove the snow. So send the blowers in and just take a cut to allow the grader more room to plow, but it's not going to be solved for a while.
While homeowners do their best to dig themselves out, others have to stay put for now. And some side streets have yet to be plowed.
Not that they've been forgotten. We will be getting to them. It just is not as quickly as obviously a resident would like.
There are 3 more months in this winter season, and with January and February being the coldest months, Environment Canada says there could be more big clashes of air masses like the one we just experienced, and they advise people to be prepared for anything. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Time for our first check on weather with more. Here's CTV's Rick Wyman. And Rick, we've had a lot of snow. I have to give my neighbor Don a shout out. He noticed I was away for a few days and made sure the driveway was clear enough for me to get home.
You're a celebrity. You can get that done anytime you want. And why not? That's the mark of a good neighbor. I wasn't as fortunate in Wanapitei, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Systems map Of course, as we saw yesterday, a big improvement today, of course, but we've got some storm activity in Moosonee tonight and overnight. Cold temperatures and some swirling winds in Timmins as well, some blowing snow. We'll check out the current temperatures in just a couple of minutes. Also, the 7-day forecast and a great pick of the day, the weather pick of the day, going back to Timmins as to what it was like just 24 hours ago. So, Ian, we'll take a look at that and more coming up. Back to you.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Rick. Well, in other news, human remains found east of North Bay in Head, Clara, and Maria Township have been identified as 26-year-old Hakeem Mukira of Ottawa. The body was found Sunday morning on North River Road, north of Cedar Lake. According to the OPP, preliminary information has determined there are no signs of a broader threat. Police have meantime released very little in terms of how the discovery was made. Residents are being warned to expect an increased police presence in the area as the investigation continues. North Bay police are reporting a concerning trend involving firearms. More and more replica handguns are being seized after being used in drug deals or armed robberies. CTV's Eric Tashner reports.
I've mentioned it before.
Replica handguns are in police crosshairs. That from a recent police board meeting. North Bay's acting deputy chief highlights they're trying to clamp down on the number of fake guns circulating in the community.
They're designed to look like a real gun.
Police believe a majority of the replicas are coming up from the Toronto area to be used as a part of drug deals in the north. But they're also commonly used in other crimes.
Those are being used in not only the drug world, but they're being used in, armed robberies, intimidation type things.
The concern for police is that when they're called to a situation involving a gun, officers must treat the situation as if it's a real weapon. Police don't actually keep inventory of the number of fake guns they confiscate, but add keeping tabs on how many they do seize might be an initiative they start sometime soon.
When we seize a real firearm, like considered a crime gun, we have to send that away for testing. We try to find the origin, stuff like that. We just don't do that with replica handguns.
According to Public Safety Canada, in 2020, replica guns were the second most frequently used firearm in a gun-related crime. On its website, it states the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police has asked us to prohibit these devices to help avoid these situations. Warner notes that criminal charges do not diminish if crooks are using a replica handgun.
I don't know if the impression is out there that, it's only a replica handgun, so I can't get in as much trouble. But as I said to the board, people are wrong.
Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
There's some positive news coming out of the Sault area hospital. A change in strategy has drastically improved offload wait times for those being brought to the hospital via ambulance. CTV's Corey Northwestern reports.
Just over 2 months ago, the Sault area hospital, in partnership with local EMS, implemented a new system to get patients out of the ambulance and into the hospital quicker.
We might see anywhere from 120 to 160 patients per day. So between 25 and 30% of that comes via EMS. And they were a year ago, it was not uncommon for them to wait an hour, and now they're waiting less than 20 minutes.
The system was developed collaboratively with guidance from the two local agencies, as well as consultants Optimus SBR and the North York General Hospital.
We have now a dedicated nurse over what's called a horizontal waiting room, and that nurse meets the ambulance at the entrance, and they do an assessment, take a report from the ambulance at that point, and we assume care from there.
A major benefit of the change is the way it frees up paramedics who no longer need to wait as long with patients and can get back on the road.
It's huge for the community. They have a limited number of ambulances available for the community, and every time 1, 2, 3 of those ambulances are held up at the hospital, they're not available for calls. And that can include very high-level 911 calls. So now all the ambulances are available for all of the calls.
Rosso adds that patients tend to feel more comfortable once moved into the hospital, and they're looking to continue searching for ways to improve both the stay and onboarding of patients. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A heads up to those in Thessalon, the local emergency department will be undergoing a 24-hour closure starting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. ending on Thursday morning. The closure is due to doctor shortages. Ambulances will be rerouted to the Blind River site, Richards Landing, and Sioux Area Hospital. And as always, if you have an emergency, call 911. Still to come on CTV News at 6. New rules around carbon monoxide detectors are coming into force across Ontario. And Sudbury is going to see a New Year's Eve party focusing on one of its biggest traditions, Porchetta.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The new year is bringing a quiet but potent change for homeowners and renters across Ontario. New rules that aim to stop a silent, deadly threat. CTV's Rob Cooper explains.
The new carbon monoxide requirements take effect January 1st. All homes with fuel-burning appliances like water heaters, furnaces, stoves, dryers, and fireplaces will need additional CO detectors. According to the new regulations, there must be an alarm beside every bedroom and on every floor of the home. Even if you already have a detector, you will need to add more.
So the changes came about in order to protect Ontarians as best as we possibly can. We've seen numbers increase year over year. This is a gas that you can't smell, taste, or see.
The Fire Marshal's office says over 65% of carbon monoxide incidents and deaths occur in the home. The new rules apply to both new and existing homes.
But at the end of the day, if you don't have a carbon monoxide alarm on every story, you are going to have to go out there and protect yourself with one.
The Barrie Fire Department says CO calls historically go up during the winter season.
Mainly, I think it's because of the buildup of snow. We're not getting proper ventilation. We're using, our fireplaces to produce heat, and maybe they haven't been serviced by a qualified technician. So carbon monoxide, especially because we live in Ontario, we have, our winters, and then sometimes things will back up into our home. We want to be extra safe.
Fire experts remind people the only way to detect carbon monoxide is by having a carbon monoxide detector. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Barrie.
2025 saw a comeback of sorts for Ontario's Liberal Party, with more seats and a return to party status in February's provincial election. However, as CTV's Siobhan Morris explains, the party remains without a leader and a clear direction heading into the new year.
After races in 2020 and again in 2023, Ontario's Liberal Party is in search of a leader, their third since Doug Ford became Premier in 2018. The winter election, a story of wins and losses for the Liberals. They picked up 14 seats, enough to regain party status.
We increased our share of the vote substantially to 30%.
But Bonnie Crombie defeated in a Mississauga riding, the city where she'd been mayor for 9 years. In September, only 57% of party delegates expressed support in her leadership.
It's not the number I wanted.
Planning to resign once a new leader is chosen. Crombie hasn't been at Queen's Park since leaving the convention stage.
But she continues to be in conversation. She has recently done multiple fundraisers for our Liberal associations.
The party president says that work will continue until a successor is in place.
We're really excited and energized for this upcoming leadership race.
A chance to attract new talent, new members, but the when of it all hasn't been nailed down.
The membership survey that we've done will help us with some of the decisions around the rules, the process, the fee, the timing, the voting, as well as the convention.
John Fraser's been leading the Liberals in the House.
We punch way above our weight.
But has no interest in the gig on a permanent basis. There's debate amongst Liberals over whether they should look for fresh blood.
Maybe a mayor, maybe somebody from the business world, maybe somebody who's never been in politics but has tons of charisma and game.
Versus a leader who already has a spot in the House opposite Doug Ford.
Is known to media, already has some brand value in politics.
After 3 brutal elections, Reid sees the selection of the next Liberal leader as existential.
They need a leader who can light up the electorate in this next election. If they elect a resume or the strongest organizer or the best known person within the tiny camp that is the Ontario Liberal Party already, they will lose again, and who knows where the party will end up.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
We'll all be marking a new year in a little more than 24 hours. In Sudbury, there are some family-friendly pre-bedtime celebrations being planned. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
Staying up until midnight isn't always feasible, which is why some community events are taking to earlier start times to make sure everyone has an accessible way to end off 2025.
It's before midnight so that families can participate. So you can bring the kids, they can have a really great time. You still get them back before bed, and the parents can still do a little fun thing for midnight as well.
We're having a New Year's Eve family fun day at Science North. So if folks are looking for something to do, it'll be fun for the whole family. We're open 10 to 4. And we're just busy celebrating the last day of the year. We'll have lots of holiday-themed workshops throughout the Science Centre.
Science North will be continuing its beloved confetti drop and helping the community get in some last-minute science knowledge for the year.
We have everything from robot challenges, including robot hockey. We have lots of chances to create your own unique souvenirs for the 2025 holiday season. People can learn what animals do in the winter. We have a great show in our Discovery Theatre. It's called Blizzard Bonanza, a high energy winter science show where we'll push some of the limits of chemistry and physics to create more snow, if that's even possible.
For a more traditional New Year celebration, the Coniston Industrial Park and Lopes Limited are hosting their Light Up the Night event again this year, with even more fireworks than last year.
There's a big sliding hill that we'll have, which is a great way to get the kids involved. There's beaver tails here, which kids always love. The bonfires are always fun, just a nice little warm-up area. People can bring their chairs if they want to just kind of sit and enjoy the evening or the fireworks.
Both events are trying to keep the celebrations as affordable as possible, which is why Light Up the Night is completely free and Science North is free for children under 18 with a discount for adults. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
This New Year's Eve, the Caruso Club in Sudbury is trading in glitz and glamour for something a little more savory. They're hosting a Porchetta bingo night to ring in 2026. CTV's Amanda Hicks reports.
New Year's Eve celebrations are about to look much different at the Caruso Club this year. Instead of a formal gala, the club has decided to lean into a Nickel City classic, Porchetta Bingo.
We've heard some feedback from like younger people that cost is important to them. So keeping that in mind was really important to us.
200 tickets have been sold so far, which includes a bingo card, snacks, a toast at midnight, and dancing. But the night isn't just about the game. It's also about the history.
It was actually my great uncle who brought his recipe of porchetta that we actually know here in Sudbury. There's many different variations of porchetta, but the one integral to the Sudbury community was first introduced back in the 30s from my great uncle.
In Sudbury, Ontario, porchetta is the food of the city.
There will also be a screening of the documentary Porchetta de Sudbury, which explores how an Italian roast became a cultural icon of the North. The creators of the 25-minute film will be at the Caruso Club for the event.
For most of us who grew up in Sudbury, I don't think many of us would really have even known that what we call porchetta is unique and that the way that we interact with that food is uniquely Sudburian. And I think it's really interesting to try and step outside of sort of like your upbringing and examine a component of it deeply. And that gives you like this cool perspective.
The Italian community in Sudbury really welcomed us with open arms. We, were able to work with and film with, essentially all of the main sort of like staples and institutions in the Italian community in Sudbury, like the Caruso Club, Regency Bakery, Torini's, DNA Meats.
There are still tickets available, which can be purchased online or by phoning the Caruso Club directly. The doors open tomorrow night at 6:30. Amanda Hicks, CTV News, Sudbury.
And speaking of porchetta, back now for a check on the current conditions with another Sudbury tradition. Rick Wyman. Rick?
Ian, big difference from last night at the same time in regards to our current temperatures and, of course, some of the conditions in Northeastern Ontario. As you can see, got a snowstorm warning in Moosonee for tonight. Some snow, blowing snow. We'll get to the actual current conditions in just a moment as we just change screens right now. And speaking of Moosonee, this is what we've got going. Minus 28 with the wind chill and some snow right now. Cochrane minus 30, minus 28 in Timmins, and minus 29 in Kapuskasing. Some very cold temperatures overnight. Minus 20 in Chapleau, minus 20 in Wawa, minus 16 in Sault Ste. Marie. Some light precipitation there. Minus 20, some clear skies in Parry Sound for this hour. Meanwhile, in North Bay, minus 27, some light snow, minus 29 to Temiskaming Shores, and Kirkland Lake, minus 30 this hour. Moving on over to Sudbury Nickel Belt, minus 22, a few clouds in the forecast, minus 20, clear skies in Espanola, few clouds in Elliott Lake, minus 21, and Gore Bay, clear skies, minus 18. So compared to last night, a big change in our current and a lot more our weather conditions too. We'll take a look at the 7-day forecast coming up.
Thanks, Rick. Next on CTV News at 6. A Quebec family is looking for answers after one of their loved ones was found dead in the Dominican Republic. And a woman is killed in Alberta after falling into deep snow over the weekend. The family of a Quebec couple are searching for answers after their loved ones were found dead inside the home in the Dominican Republic. The family says 56-year-old Alain Noel and 55-year-old Christine Chauvet died the night of Christmas Day and are awaiting autopsy results to determine the cause of death. Global Affairs Canada confirmed that it is aware of the deaths of 2 Canadian citizens in the Dominican. Local media is reporting that Dominican officials are investigating the incident. In Alberta, a woman is dead after falling into deep snow at a ski resort. It happened over the weekend, and despite rescue efforts, the woman died on the mountain. CTV's Tyson Vidor has the details.
Some Sunshine Village skiers witnessed the death of a 47-year-old woman on Saturday afternoon after she had been skiing on one of the resort's popular green runs.
The woman did fall into a soft snow immersion and that she was unresponsive on scene. I have heard that it could have been asphyxiation or it could have been cardiac arrest.
Sunshine Village says other skiers witnessed her fall and tried to help. Its ski patrol team was notified of an unresponsive skier and attended within 3 minutes. She was found in or near the trees off Banff Avenue, a green run on the lower mountain.
They did perform CPR for over 2 hours, hoping to revive her. Unfortunately, that attempt was unsuccessful and the woman did pass away. At this point in time, our thoughts and prayers are with the family during this difficult period of time.
The woman's cause of death is not known, but Backcountry Skiing Canada says that snow immersion suffocation accidents can happen when skiers fall headfirst into deep, loose snow, becoming trapped and suffocate. This video captures Stars Air Ambulance also arriving on the mountain, but officials say the crew returned to base after the woman was pronounced dead.
When situations like this do occur, our team really tries to work swiftly in the background. At Sunshine, it is our #1 priority to try and to work to deliver a safe experience for all to enjoy the beauty of the Canadian Rockies.
With nearly 4.5 meters of snow accumulating this season alone, December was the 4th snowiest month in the resort's nearly 100-year history. Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Recovery efforts are continuing in Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa, which made landfall as a Category 5 storm at the end of October. Local group Global Medic is packing emergency food kits for those impacted by the hurricane.
They're basically taking, rice and kidney beans and chickpeas and green peas and putting them in buckets, sealing them up. It's going to be about 20 pounds of food. We're going to skid that, put it at aircraft height, and this weekend, Air Canada's given us some cargo space down into Montego Bay, and we're going to put several hundred kits down and then be out next week handing food aid out to families in need.
Toronto-based Global Medic says roughly 360,000 people were in need of food assistance in the immediate aftermath of the storm. The group is also packing emergency hygiene kits for people who have been displaced. At least 45 deaths have been linked to the hurricane in Jamaica. Turning now to a new twist in one of aviation's biggest mysteries. More than a decade after its disappearance, the search for Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 is expected to resume today. On March 8th of 2014, the flight went off course while traveling from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 people on board. This new search is being conducted by a U.S. company called Ocean Infinity. It's a no-find, no-fee deal, which means the company gets paid only if the wreckage is found. The search actually started earlier this year, but it was called off due to bad weather. Canadian and European leaders held talks today over developments in the Ukraine war as questions swirl over the future of a U.S.-backed peace plan in the region. The talks also included NATO Secretary General coming on the heels of unproven allegations by Russia that Ukraine launched a massive drone attack at one of the homes of Vladimir Putin. Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky wrapped up a meeting with Trump over the weekend, touching on key issues around a U.S.-backed peace plan, but it's unclear if and when Russia will accept the terms laid out. Prime Minister Mark Carney says in a post on X that he spoke with European leaders this morning about the latest efforts to advance Ukraine's security and recovery. Carney says he supports the efforts to reach a negotiated peace settlement by U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. The Prime Minister also says Canada is, quote, ready to provide security guarantees for a lasting peace in Ukraine. The FBI says millions of dollars worth of motorcycles have been seized by Mexican authorities linked to Canadian alleged drug kingpin Ryan Wedding. CTV's Judy Trin is tracking the latest on the investigation.
Dozens of high-powered motorcycles worth an estimated $40 million seized in a joint operation by Mexican authorities, the FBI, the RCMP, and Los Angeles Police. Authorities say the collection belongs to Canadian fugitive Ryan Wedding. Each bike contains valuable clues.
Determining the flow of his supply, the flow of, his income, his drug supplies, his narcotics, of how it's being transported.
Earlier this month, the FBI released a new photo of Wedding. It's believed the former Olympic snowboarder is being hidden by the Sinaloa cartel.
Sinaloa has been undergoing a real attack on their power and their ability to protect Wedding, consequently, is starting to crumble.
Analysts say that after the Trump administration declared drug cartels terrorist organizations, Mexico increased its efforts to ferret out Wedding, prompted by watching the U.S. attack Venezuelan drug boats.
This is something they would not have done before the United States declared that the cartels were terrorist groups, because they didn't have to. But now they feel the threat of the possible attack by the United States.
About 30 associates of Wedding have already been arrested, including Wedding's Toronto lawyer, Deepak Paradkar, accused of counseling suspects to murder an informant. The U.S. wants him extradited. Paradkar was granted bail last week because of health concerns.
Obviously, we've seen in the movies, and it's true, they're going to, take out, execute, kill any individual who could potentially become an FBI informant. If they're under investigation, they're being extradited to the United States, that's a risk to them.
Ryan Wedding has been on the run since 2015. Not only is he considered the biggest cocaine trafficker in Canada, he's also accused of at least 4 murders in Ontario. The FBI is offering $15 million for information that could lead to his arrest and conviction. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Lawyers representing a group of 5 families who lost loved ones in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash plan to appeal a judge's dismissal of their lawsuit. As CTV's Mick Favell reports, the families feel several defendants, including the Saskatchewan government, played roles in the deadly 2018 crash.
After a judge dismissed a lawsuit related to the Humboldt Broncos bus crash earlier this month, legal counsel representing the 5 families behind the suit say they will appeal the decision. On December 16th, a Regina judge dismissed a claim originally filed in 2018, shortly after the crash, which left 16 dead and 13 injured at an intersection of Highway 35 and 335 near Tisdale. The lawsuit raised claims of negligence against the Saskatchewan Ministry of Highways, the semi-driver involved in the crash, the company he worked for, and the manufacturer of the bus. Court of King's Bench Judge Graham Mitchell made the dismissal, saying the allegations made in the proposed pleading are not sound in law and the pleading's fundamental premise is unprovable. To date, no statements of defense have been filed by any of the defendants.
The parents are disappointed, and it's that individual and systemic responsibility and transparency that they're seeking, and the families are left with an incomplete answer and critical evidence never being considered.
For over 7 years, the claim has made its way through the court system, a significant amount of time, the legal counsel say, just to figure out if the claim could move forward.
The delay is so palpable and overriding that the delay in litigating this lawsuit has caused equal to more harm than the tragedy itself.
Malor predicts it will be about a year before they hear back from the Court of Appeal.
This case has never been about money. It's never been about compensation. It's always been about whether or not the government is going to be held accountable. Accountability can lead to safer roads because without it, there's no incentive for change.
The government of Saskatchewan says it respects the court's decision, but will not provide further comment as the matter remains before the court. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
There's more news ahead, but first here's your full weather forecast with Rick Wyman.
Talk about a big difference from last night. At this same time, of course, a lot more snow, howling winds, and frigid temperatures in the Northeast. Tonight, different story. We've got some storm activity in Moosonee with some snow and some cold temperatures, but the rest of the Northeast will just have some cold weather with the wind chill into effect for tonight. So let's take a look at some of those conditions this hour. Wind chill in Greater Sudbury, Sault Ste. Marie, chance of flurries, wind chill in Timmins, Temiskaming Shores, and North Bay. So a cold night overnight in Moosonee. There you go. You've got the snow at 5 centimeters and the wind chill minus 32 for tonight and overnight. Caphurst wind chill, Wawa wind chill, chance of flurries, Gore Bay, Perry Sound with the chance of flurries. Now your 7-day forecast numbers. Sudbury, Nickel Belt, sun and cloud tomorrow minus 15. New Year's Day, sunshine minus 16. Chance of snow on Friday minus 14 and more sunshine Saturday minus 15. Some cloud cover Sunday, but the warming trend begins with a high of minus 9. A week of flurry activity in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma. Chance of flurries tomorrow minus 8. New Year's Day, chance of flurries. Here we go again. Chance of flurries Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But warmer on Sunday and Monday, minus 4 and minus 5, your daytime highs. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, chance of flurries minus 18 for tomorrow. New Year's Day minus 19, minus 17 Friday, some sun and cloud, more of the same on Saturday and Sunday. And the warming trend will continue into Monday and even Tuesday. Take a look at the temperatures. You go from minus 18 to minus 12 to minus 13 to minus 9. Normally you're sitting at minus 10 degrees. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, sun and cloud tomorrow minus 16. Thursday, loads of sunshine. New Year's Day at minus 19, minus 15 Friday, some sun and cloud. Saturday, sunny skies minus 17. Sunday, some cloud cover minus 11. And the chance of flurries come Monday, the chance at 30% with an expected high of around minus 9. So warming up Sunday in some areas and even Monday in others. So it will change. We'll get out of this, well, frigid area of a lot of cold weather. And a lot of people are not happy with that right now. North Bay, West Nipissing. Sun and cloud tomorrow, minus 14, minus 16 New Year's Day. Friday, chance of snow at minus 9. Minus 16 Saturday. Sunday, we've got cloud cover minus 9. Warming trend continues, minus 6 on Monday, minus 7 Tuesday. And that's where we should be for this time of the year in North Bay and West Nipissing. So again, you'll have to wait a couple of days for the warmer weather to set in. In some cases, like I said, perhaps Saturday into Sunday into Monday, it should be a lot warmer. Let's take a look at our picks of the day now. This is what it was like yesterday in Timmins with all that snow. Thanks, Joanne, for that. Winter in Timmins, yes, lots of snow and, of course, continuing temperatures in South Porcupine. Merci, Joanne. Your pick could be on for tomorrow, the final pick of the day for 2025. Stick around. Ian has more news coming up after the break.
On Saturday night, Winnipeg Jets fans were treated to an a cappella performance of the national anthems. 23-year-old Olivia Stedman was center stage for a second time this year. CTV's Joseph Bernacki has more on how this singer is inspiring her audiences.
Oh, Canada.
Olivia Stedman loves to sing, no matter the size of her audience. Tim Stedman was a proud dad on Saturday, watching thousands of people cheer for his daughter ahead of the Winnipeg Jets Minnesota Wild game. It's the second time she sang both anthems this year for the Jets.
I'm out on that ice with her, and I don't even have a remote fear that she's gonna make a mistake or get worried or get nervous. It's something she loves, and it makes her so incredibly happy to do it.
Stedman lives with cerebral palsy, visual impairment, and an intellectual disability. It hasn't stopped Olivia from belting out a tune with a smile.
She has an incredible memory, so singing was one of the first ways she kind of learned her words. So it was a great therapeutic option for us.
At the Movement Center of Manitoba, Olivia works on her mobility skills every week. She's been coming here since she was 5. Staff say her voice brings a smile to everyone.
The minute Olivia walks into the doors of the center, she lights up this space.
Barbara Dick Stedman, Olivia's mom, says it was a dream for her daughter to perform at the arena after years of singing in choir.
Round yon Virgin Mother.
CTV Winnipeg first met Olivia back in 2019 when she was singing Christmas carols at her school. Olivia works with a music therapist, learning more songs. What seemed unrealistic became reality when True North contacted the family.
We've had people say that Olivia becomes this beacon of inclusion and belonging.
For now, Olivia is keeping those vocal cords in tune ahead of her next performance. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
A college in Ottawa is offering a hands-on look at traditional Indigenous knowledge through a deer hide tanning workshop series. As CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports, it's giving learners a rare opportunity to connect with culture.
In the Ishkadiwan courtyard at Algonquin College, students and staff are learning an ancestral practice passed down through generations.
Today we are going to be dry scraping a deer hide.
The Mamidoswin Center, which supports Indigenous learners and offers cultural programs on campus, brings in knowledge keepers to share these traditional teachings.
Very gentle strokes.
Tammy Pazendawach Tawashi is guiding students through every step.
What I do is I tan hides, moose hides, and deer hides. But I do it the traditional way in terms of transforming it into smoke tanned leather by using 2 hands and hand tools.
The workshops show how deer and moose hides become soft, usable leather, the material behind many traditional goods.
Traditionally, this is where our moccasins come from, right? It comes from the moose, it comes from the deer. So any leather goods, if you want to make, I like to make earrings, handbags, moccasins, vests.
Student Keon Everhart says a class like this provides a connection to nature.
I feel like it's an amazing experience for me because I've never done it before, and I'm really proud to be able to show people that I've done this. I think it's amazing. It's a cultural experience for sure. I feel very connected to the nature around me, and whenever I get the chance to learn about it, I come and I participate. And it also builds a community.
One of the goals is to highlight and reflect on Indigenous culture and practices.
Land-based learning is part of our mandate at the Mamidoswin Center, and so we do try to do this type of activity or something similar at least once or twice a year.
Engagements with knowledge keepers such as Tammy Cote today is really a part of our community, and Algonquin College has made a real commitment to learning about Indigenous peoples, engaging with Indigenous peoples, and listening to Indigenous peoples.
Light pressure, because if you go too hard, you're going to break.
As for Tammy Pazendawach Tawashi, she says the workshops also ensure traditional skills are passed on to future generations.
My goal is to revitalize these teachings so more people are learning the traditional teachings of our ancestors.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Still ahead on CTV News at 6. Canada has a big win at the World Juniors. More on that in just a moment.
Clothing provided by Laura, Melanie Lynn.
After back-to-back disappointing quarterfinal losses, Canada appears to be back on track at the World Juniors this year. The Canadians walloping Denmark 9-1 last night to make it 3 wins in a row.
Pass finds McKenna. In comes McKenna. Oh, the movie scores!
I hope this is onside. I really hope this is onside.
Hat trick.
18-year-old Gavin McKenna scoring a hat trick. The Whitehorse Yukon native is expected to be the first overall pick in next year's NHL draft. Canada now looks ahead to its final group game against Finland on New Year's Eve. With a win, Canada will finish on top of the Group B standings. Sudbury's pro basketball team is off and winning in the Basketball Super League. The Five put on quite a show in front of a good crowd in Sudbury last night with a 126-114 decision over the Lake Erie Jackals. Keyshawn Bryant led the Five with 32 points. Sudbury is at home to Montreal this Saturday at 7. Meanwhile, the Christmas break is over for the Sudbury Wolves in the OHL tonight. The Wolves host Kitchener, having won their last 4 games. Puck drop is just after 7. In consumer news, buying a new car isn't cheap these days. Cars are expensive, and if you need to take out a loan, it'll cost you even more. So making the right choice matters. CTV's Pat Foran has details.
Every year, Consumer Reports asks its members about any problems they've experienced with their vehicles over the past 12 months. The survey covers areas from minor issues like trim and infotainment systems to serious and costly ones involving the engine, transmission, or electric motors. Problems no one wants to deal with on a new car.
The problem is that once the warranty expires, an unreliable new car starts becoming a real headache, and it costs you time and money.
This year, they analyzed data from about 380,000 vehicles. The top brands include Toyota, Subaru, and Lexus, with Honda and BMW rounding out the top 5.
The same automakers continue to dominate our top brand rankings. And that's because when they're looking to redesign a model, they're not making huge seismic changes. And many models across the line use shared components.
The latest findings show that EVs and plug-in hybrids remain more trouble-prone than traditional gas models, while conventional hybrids, which don't need to be plugged in, continue to stand out for reliability.
Hybrids are more complex than internal combustion models. However, some manufacturers, in particular Toyota, but also Hyundai and Kia, have worked out the bugs. And in some cases, the reliability of the hybrid models is similar to or even better than the regular versions.
Along with better fuel economy, researchers found hybrid versions often deliver a smoother driving experience than traditional gas models. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Entertainment brought to you by the Cinefest Red Carpet Patron Program.
Movie news now and more. Here's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Report.
This is the work of the Wicked Witch.
There's no place like home for Wicked for Good. The second half of the Broadway musical adaptation arrives on digital platforms today. It's grossed more than $500 million worldwide in theaters.
I done cabaret with her on Broadway, and
Alan Cumming will receive the first Hollywood Walk of Fame honor of 2026. The actor, author, and Emmy-winning TV host will be honored in the Live Theater and Live Performance category on January 8th, before hosting the Movies for Grown-Ups Awards with AARP on January 10th.
I created something truly horrible. Not something. Someone.
Frankenstein is very much alive this award season. Guillermo del Toro's take on the classic horror tale leads with 4 nominations for the Makeup Artists and Hairstylists Guild Awards. The winners will be revealed at a gala February 14th in Los Angeles. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The price of silver and gold rebounded today, helping to boost the TSX. Silver in particular recovered some losses after a sharp drop yesterday. Here's BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya with your business report.
Silver climbed today after recording its biggest one-day drop in more than 5 years. The metal climbed above $74 an ounce today after a 9% slide on Monday. Silver is now on track for a 35% monthly gain. Gold also edged up after its steepest drop in 2 months. And despite the pullback earlier this week, gold and silver remain on track for their best annual performance since 1979. And here's the closing numbers for the day today. The Canadian dollar dropped slightly to $73.02. West Texas Intermediate is down to $57.94. Western Canadian Select also ended the day lower at $44.61. And the TSX lost 30 points today, closing at 31,866. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
And here are the current prices for some key commodities we watch. Gold up $2.83, closing the day at $43.41.60 U.S. an ounce. Silver down 32 cents to end the day at $75.92. Copper down 15 cents, $5.56, and nickel down 25 cents, ending the day at $7.25 U.S. a pound. Back now for one last look at the weather, and as Rick mentioned earlier tonight, it is cooler, but the snow at least has stopped. Let's take a look at the board here. Sudbury, we've got -15, -18 in Timmins with a slight chance of flurries tomorrow. And Sault Ste. Marie, we've got -8 with more flurries, so we're not done with the white stuff there just yet. Heading over to North Bay, we've got -14 with a mix of sun and cloud, a mix of sun and cloud in Parry Sound at -10. And good news, a mix of sun and cloud and -16 in Timiskaming Shores and no signs of flurries. And a quick programming note to let you know about tonight. We're taking a look back on the year that was for a review show at 11:30. It's something we're calling the Good News Show. We'll revisit some of your old favorite stories, some of the positive ones that left you with the warm fuzzies, or stories you may have forgotten about. And we're doing it all from Elliott Lake. Make sure to join us for a night of positivity here on CTV Northern Ontario or watch on Crave. Finally, tonight at this time tomorrow, some parts of the world will be ringing in the new year. Preparations are underway for one of the biggest celebrations in North America. Crews in New York are now getting the ball ready to be dropped in Times Square. The new design for this year's Waterford Crystal Pieces is circular panels symbolizing infinity. They have to install more than 5,000 discs before midnight on December 31st, when this glittering ball will drop and signify the start of 2026. A little more than 24 hours to go till 2026. Again, we'll see you tonight from Elliott Lake and tomorrow back here on the desk. Until then, thanks for watching and spending your night with us. Good night.